Okay, so the call will start in about 2 minutes or so. I just want to put some edits here on the video on YouTube, so I can get that out of the way. 1935. Okay. Excellent. So I will monitor the YouTube channel. If anybody is on there and needs any help with anything, I can answer some questions on there. Okay, so top of the hour in a few seconds. Okay, so welcome everybody to our Wednesday session. So this will be the last one for the week. It's just gone top of the hour. So I'll start off with the DTB traders information. So quite a few indicators and tools in the DTB system, but there's not just a whole lot thrown in there. They're all carefully selected and they each got their own properties that make them suitable for the DTB system. So I've probably got over 150 different tools that I have at my disposal that I work with, but I've only really put in the ones that are of great value to DTB and the community. So that's why every now and then I'll add something in, perhaps even remove something or modify something. But ideally, I actually want to limit the amount of tools, because the last thing I want is for people to be confused or be overly, consumed with a whole lot of different tools, and that can be a bit overwhelming. So trying to fine tune it and just make it as ideal as possible with as least amount of tools and stuff as possible. So we're definitely progressing. It's a never-ending job, that. Okay, so risk disclosures for futures trading. So keep an eye out for that. There's a link to it in the video as well. So review that and go from there. Okay, so quite a lot of action on today so far. We had that 8:30. We had a huge move at 8:30. A lot of movement over there. So I just want to go through what happened yesterday on yesterday's session on my side. So yesterday I had these trades were my actual trades that entered on my system. And one of the chaps mentioned that theirs was slightly different. Their trades were running a bit differently and their data was looking a bit different. So we know that when you run optimizations after the fact, the data has to match up very clearly to the results. So we've done this over the last few days where we've run optimization after the trading day, and then we've matched up the trades for that specific day, and they're all lined up perfectly. So with mine yesterday, this was my trading chart. And after the session completed, I ran the optimization again, and the results were very different. So the exact same settings that I used on the call, the trades were different in the optimization. So I definitely had a data issue during live trading on my account. So I did some research on that. And what happens with these funded programs is they give you a data feed. It's a rhythmic data feed, and it's from a paper trading something server. in Chicago. So it's not an active live trading exchange. It's like a filtered exchange. So that's all fine and well, but what you can actually do is you can go into your settings of your NinjaTrader. So everybody should have a live account that they trade with, and they should be paying for their own data feed. So if you've got a live account and you are paying for a data feed, whether it is Kinetic or it is CQG, that is the data that you should actually be using for your trading. So if you go into your tools menu and you go into options and you go to market data, this is the area where you can basically select which data you want to be selected for your lifetime data. So I never had this selected. I had something else in there, and I was only connected to the rhythmic data feed. So I wasn't connected to my own data feed that I've been using all along. Now, I'm not saying that every single day there's been discrepancies, but it's just, I think it's more prone to having these discrepancies when you're using a data feed that you're not normally using, that's not your live paid data feed. So this is like a filtered data feed through a paper trading server through Rhythmic. So I'm not quite sure of what their efficiency is or exactly what that means. But all I know is that the CQG data or the kinetic data that I normally use is basically flawless. So select that in your settings for your account. And then what you need to do is when you go and connect to your data feed, don't have it automatically connect. So first do this like we've done here. So delete all your data, delete all your files and things, and then connect first to your paid data feed. So if you like mine's with CQG, so I connect to that one first. And what happens is the first data feed that you connect to is generally the one that is going to be the hosting. That's where you're going to get your data from, and especially if you select it in the options. So once you select that one, then go and connect if you've got a funded account and connect to that one. So you're still connecting. So you got to connect to both of them at the same time. And that's the important thing to discuss. Now, I know that all my data is going to be coming from my CQG data feed and not the other one. So hopefully that makes a difference. And I did a bit of research around that. And that's what it basically came up with. Okay, so let's have a look at some optimizations. So I went and did that. I cleared all my data and I restarted my connection. So hopefully we are fine today with that. So I did the normal one. So I did the 22.22. I'm not seeing anything really powerful over there. And also, I'll just go from the top. We got all the same settings as we've done before. The only thing I have changed here was I used a week later's date. So I used the 5th of September instead of the 29th of August. So I just went a week later. That's all I've basically done there. You don't have to do that. I'm just particularly going to be doing that just so I've got, I want basically a month and the week, a month and a week or so to give me a good perspective of, you know, what the market is doing. And that's been working fine, you know, for me. I'm using instrument settings, and the only thing different is the date. So we're choosing the end date as the 14th. So today's the 13th, so we're selecting the 14th, and I ran that. So that's what I did over there. So that is my 22.22 optimization. This is the 20.20 optimization. So this one looks a bit better. We've got, unfortunately, the Wednesday doesn't look the greatest over here, but the rest of the week has actually been pretty good. So even a Tuesday has looked pretty awesome on this. So if we go back and we look at the chart, if we look at yesterday's trades, if we had this setting on yesterday, we would have had that basically one trade. That's two trades. It did a buy and then it did a sell, and then it basically traded all the way to session close. So that would have been a beautiful trade for yesterday. That would have been a little bit down the list as well, because that was a good trade. But overall percentage is pretty good on that. I'm sure even the others would have actually been very, very close to those type of results too. Yeah, so over there, like yesterday, we had a sell and then it had a nice buy and then that was done. Okay, so we won't carry on looking at that. Let me just bring it back to where we were. So the analysis. And the next one I'm looking at is the 1818. So we've got a few options over there. Again, looking at the days. I'm looking primarily at Wednesday, but I'm also looking at other days of the week. So just looking at the drawdowns, not the greatest setup over here. I mean, we've got quite a high. This one doesn't look too bad. It's got 26 trades, but it shows the whole of the week okay. It's just the Friday where it dropped down. So I'll keep that one in mind. Let's have a look at the 1616. So this one doesn't look too bad. We've got a high net profit on there with a reasonable drawdown. Probably the second one looks a bit better, but we'll have to just go and look at the day of the week. So yeah, we had an amazing Mondays and Tuesdays. So I don't know why didn't I pick this up yesterday? I wonder if we obviously did analyze the 1616 yesterday. If I go back on the video, we obviously did. It'll be interesting to see if we picked this up yesterday. Unless it had an exceptionally good day yesterday, that it made a few thousand, and then that's why it's brought up. It's on that list. So that's yesterday's trades on those settings. Okay, so it had some really good settings. A sell. Is this yesterday? 12. Yes. So sell, buy. So that was phenomenal yesterday on those settings. Okay. So you can also look at how the strategy has been performing for the last few days. So that's another thing I also like looking at, is looking at the daily the daily performance of it and just seeing what that is looking like overall. So if you're looking over a whole month and a week, those are basically all the results that these specific settings have done during that time between 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. And obviously you can go and look at the entry time, and that'll give you, it'll be 90% 9:30 anyway. But that just gives you an indication of what the strategy has done over those periods. So the last 2 days have actually been really good on that. Okay, let me just check. All right, so that was what was that, 1616? I'll go back to the day of the week, and we'll keep that in mind. It's not bad, but let's have a look. And then the last one I did over here was a 48, 8 to 48 with an 8 thing. So let's have a look at that. Again, analysis. So this one is showing pretty high values for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So pretty high values over there. So that's the 40. So 2-2 drawdown, 15,000. So this overall is looking pretty decent. And if we look at the daily, we've got a lot more green bars. It started off a little bit shaky by the look of it, but we've had some really good days since then. And again, excuse me, this is only 1 hour of trading, which is 90%, about 30 minutes of trading. So if we look at this over the last 8, 10, what day was the let me just make sure. So Friday, so Sunday, obviously that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's 11, 12, 13, 11, 12. So decent, pretty decent, these specific settings. So actually, you know what, I might actually put this one up. What we can also do though is we can just duplicate this new one, and we'll look at the settings that we used yesterday. So let's have a look at at that value of the bar that we used yesterday. It was was it a 414 if I remember correctly?
814.
814. Okay, so let's just see what that one's coming up with today, and I can run that. So what are you guys using on your size bars today, Paul? You can start.
Jason, a little torn at the moment. 16, 16, 32, 32 comes back with absolutely cracker numbers. Slightly bigger bar size, of course, and then I also got a 40 and an 8.
Okay.
Trying to see which one I'm going to throw the dart at.
All right, perfect. We didn't do a 32, 32.
Yeah, I ran it for instrument settings for 6 weeks, and I also ran it for only Tuesday open, Wednesday close, and it comes back with very consistent numbers both times.
Okay, magic.
Both A and B and the profit and loss.
Interesting. Okay. So let me just.
I did the same, Jason. I did the same, and I've actually chose the 16-16 bar because it's not stellar, but it's been the most consistent and in green the last 5 weeks of trading.
Okay, perfect. Now there we go.
I have 40 by 8 on one, and I have the 8 by 14 on the second one. The second one is making money already. So
okay, good, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna just open up this next one. Let's see. I'm gonna open up this one to see if it's finished yet. Let me just deactivate my video because obviously it's showing it's hiding some of the things over here. So you can go ahead and save the templates for the different optimizations that you're running if you want to keep those.
So Jason, just quickly, what bar size did you say? Because I've not optimized that. I'll just like to draw an optimization. I might run that as well. The 40.
Yeah, so just optimize the 40 as a top value and 8 as the second value. Because I've done it between 8 and 48, but it looks like the 40 is coming up more consistently on top.
So it's A 40, B, sorry, 40 and 8. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll run that.
Yeah. Okay, so this other one's still running, and I've got another one running over here. Oh, I don't. Okay, so this one's supposed to be 32, right? So 32 and 32. And during the session, we're going to put in the numbers that we've chosen, and we're going to run that analyzer throughout the session. I want to see, and then what we want to do is we want to make sure that the up to the minute analyzer results is matching the trading chart results. So that way we can tell whether something is out of whack, is if the analyzer is giving us results different to our chart. So again, this whole process that we're doing now, you can do this pre 9 a.m. I'm just doing it on the call so you guys can see it in motion. But ideally, you want to start between 9. Before 9, you want to have the setup before 9. So this is showing, yeah, so this bar size is showing a lot of very high results on here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this one here across the board is showing very high results, you see. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So all of these, so this is a 429. If I look at my screenshot from yesterday, I just want to check something on there. Oh, hang on. This is the 32. So this is the 32 bar size. Okay, great. I just want to look at this one over here, which is the 814. Okay. So mine is not coming up with as good results. So I'm going to leave that one. But perhaps looking at this one, it might be a good idea to switch to this one here. So this is a 1580 trades with 53%. So that one's not too bad. I'm just looking at this specific day, and then I'm going to switch to the other one that I looked at before, which was, which one was it again? It was one of these. I think it was this one over here, which is the 1818. And then let's have a look at the 1616. Okay, so the 1616 is not as good as the 1818, but the 48 is looking the sharpest actually. Okay, so this is the chart I'm going to be using today. So I'm going to go and save this. So template, save, and today is the 13th. So I'm going to rename one of these, or call it one of these, 8 to 48. Okay, and it is 13. So 8 to 48 with the 8, and okay, so I'm going to save that, and I'm going to do one more save. So template, save, and I'm going to call this the trading chart. I know what I selected. So when I go back and I review and I check all that, I can do that. Okay, so I'm going to go and open up a chart now. So from the 5th of September to today on a 48, the 5th of September. So if I go into my data series, I want to select those specific days. So custom range, and we have to choose exactly what we are using on our chart, okay, on our optimizer. So the 5th up until today, break at end of day was on, and it was a 40 and an 8. Okay, perfect. Go back into the data series just to make sure that that break at end of day is on, which it is. And now I'm going to go into the strategy and pop that on there. So template, load, and we'll be choosing the trading chart one, loading that. And we're going to go on enable. I'm just going to disable the profit. Enable, apply, and OK. So looking at that, I just want to check if there's any differences over there. I am seeing a slight difference. So I'm seeing 2,200 drawdown, which is what that is saying. Okay, let me bring up the chart. Why is it only optimizing up until 8:47 a.m.? I don't understand why that is. And my value is showing different. This is showing 12,000. This one's showing 15,000. What is the difference? I'm just going to change the day on here and run this again and just have a quick, oh crap, that's going to take forever. Just change the bar size. So I'm going to keep it on the 40 and the 8. And let's just run that. Got a few minutes before we open. So it's vitally important that we get the chart on our trading chart to match the strategy analyzer chart. Otherwise, we will not get any consistency on there. So that showed correctly the drawdown. And did the percentage show correctly? That's what I wanted to check too. So you see, I changed the end date, and for some reason it went, a bit better. Okay, so let's look at the trades, the analysis, the summary. So 251 with 43%. If I go into this, it should also say 251 with 43. So there's a slight difference over here. So because there's a slight difference over there, I'm actually going to change my idea of what I'm going to use. So I'm going to just switch back to that 1616 or 1818, whichever it was that was giving me the best results. Let me just bring that up. I think it was the 1818. Yes, okay. So again, I'm going to just use the template for the 1818. So I'm going to go template, and I'm going to go save, and I'm going to call it the 13th. I don't know why that it was different, but I'll review that afterwards. Not a significant difference, but a difference enough that I don't want to risk that one. Okay, so I'll go into my strategies. I'm going to take this off. Okay, and then go into my data series and select that 1818 bar. All right, and then go into the strategy. We've got a few minutes before the market opens. Now I'm going to go load that 1818 that I just saved. That one over there. And I'm going to go and enable that. Okay, yeah, that is right. That is right. I've only had an 8-1, so it's significant down to the other one that I selected, but I'm going to run that anyway. But while it doesn't mean I can keep it going for the whole session, I might just do some work on the back end. And if I feel like changing the settings, I can do that. So I might as well run some optimizations while this is in play. We can watch the open first and see what that does. I'll do some work on the analyzer and just see why I was getting slightly different results on that. Okay, so this top chart is fine. It is that's all correct, and that is matching my analyzer, so that's fine. I just feel I can get better settings, but I will. I'll keep going through these other settings here, and even the 32. This one's showing it's only 13 trades though. But overall, much better. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick swap over again. So I'm just not going to be, I'm going to just rechange that size of that bar again. So I'm going to switch to the 32 and the 32. Okay. And I'm going to save this template that I have over here. And it is, I'm going to call it the 13th again. $32 and $32. That's why it's good to do this long before the session so that you can actually get this out the way long in advance. Okay, so strategies. I'm going to go and disable this one. And go load up the settings. So template load, and it's the 3232, which I called it that one. Enable, apply, and OK. That's looking a lot better overall. Okay, so quick hot swap before the session opened. So quite an amazing achievement for this strategy to have made 15,000 with only a 1,800 drawdown over the whole period of time. Now this 3232 chart that we saved it now. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to duplicate that in a new window. Okay. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to limit down the iterations of it and run it while the session is in progress. So how that's going to look is I'm going to choose like setting A1 to 5, setting B25 to 30. And in that way, we're optimizing the numbers. So if those values change ever so slightly and a slightly different number is giving a better result, we can also hot swap that during the session if we have to. So a bit of a new thing that I'm introducing over here, but this is going to help us just make sure that the data is matching on our chart and our analyzer. Okay, so I'm going to set my setting A. I'll go 1 to 10. That'll be fine because it's a 4. And what I'll do, but for setting B, I'll go 20 to 30. So that's going to include this. Okay, so there's our first position. On our strategy. And if I run this iteration, it's only 110. So that's going to run very, very quickly. And that's going to keep giving us that result that we're seeing on the screen now. And what we can do is we can switch over to the chart and in that way compare those results. Sometimes you've got to fiddle a little bit with the end date to get this correct. And that's what's done there. So if you look at that entry, we had a sell over there and a buy over there. So we know that the strategy is entering positions as it should.
Well, I made it to my goal already, so I'm going fishing again.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, mine is at $800 already on the NQ with one contract.
Wow. Okay, that's magic.
Thank you. Yes, it is magic, Jason. You're making it.
Well, I'm going backwards, so it's just a start. But I mean, yeah, that's it. That's good. I'm glad you are doing that. That's perfect. Good to know. So, like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I've started off with 2 losing positions, but we'll see how that progresses during the session. I think this
Jason,
strategy is
I've paused mine as well. I've made my goal.
Wonderful, beautiful. That was nice and quick.
$825.
Wow, and that was from the open, from 9:30.
That was from the open, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to run my optimizer again, and let's see if these positions on the optimizer are matching the trading chart. Okay, so as you can see on there, we had a losing position to there, another losing position to there, we had a winning position to there, and we're currently in a position. So as you can see, my data is not corrupted. It's actually matching. It's matching. And the good thing about this is you can run it and it only takes a few seconds to run. So I think if you find yourself in a long losing position, it's probably a good idea to have this set up with values very, very close to what you are using, like I have, so that it only has like 100 iterations, and that can run in less than 10 seconds. And by doing that, you can make sure that what you are seeing on your analyzer chart is matching your trading chart. So that's exactly what we're seeing here. If you see all of these positions, if I can maybe increase the size of this somehow. Where are you? How do you fix this up now? Properties? No, I just was there, wasn't I? Okay, I can't really show these lines any bigger, but hopefully you can see them. So unfortunately, when the trades do flick over like that, there are larger losing positions because it is a 32 bar that I'm specifically using.
One of the things I do, Jason, not sure if it's valuable, is that I don't let the strategy to lose capital. I mean, if it takes a long, I expect the trade to be successful. And if it's going the other way beyond the nearest brick wall, I just kill it and wait for the next one.
Okay, that's a good idea. That's when you can use your trading stop. You know, you can activate that and you can move it as you're going.
Exactly.
Good thing to do.
Thank you.
I just don't want to limit the potential of it when it does run. So like now that it's running, I don't want to limit that, you see?
Yeah, no, so I meant on a losing, when it's losing.
On a losing, yeah, when it goes losing, yes, I get you. So Jamal, I don't know what, we should have a session again. I think you might just need some extra help setting it up. I think if you had to watch these, sessions and really pay attention to how we do the analyzer, how we set up the chart, the data series, everything has to basically line up. If you screw up one little setting, it doesn't work. And NinjaTrader, like even over here, look what I did. I had to change the end date to the 15th. Because look, I changed. If I made this the 14th. Okay, now if I run this, look, it stopped analyzing at 9:16. You know, that was completely random. It was completely random. But if you're not looking at different things on your chart, and there's absolutely zero reason, there's like no conceivable reason whatsoever why it should only, even though I've got tomorrow's date, why is it only going and analyzing the price up until 9:16? So you have to go and fiddle around with this thing sometimes. So I chose the 15th, which is another day ahead. And now for some reason, it's analyzing up until current price. So, you know, like over there, it's 9:37. So now it's matching again. So you got to have a few different alert things going on to pick up why, different things, because these type of things will creep up. They make zero sense whatsoever, and you'll never get anybody explaining to you why that is the case, why it's doing this. It just doesn't make sense. So definitely, look at every setting that you have. Save your templates. Like you can see, I'm very methodical when I'm saving my template. So, I go and I call it a very specific name with the bar size, and I just do it in such a way because I know that if I slack it off on one thing, it's going to compound and I'm going to probably miss something else. So it's a very structured approach. And unfortunately, you have to be like this with these trading platforms, because you're dealing with a lot of different things that can go wrong. Like you could have a data corruption issue. So if you're not optimizing your strategies and you're not looking at your chart tab and you're just looking at the results, and that can completely throw off your results because there's a data corruption issue, which you also would not be alerted about through NinjaTrader. So, NinjaTrader is an incredible platform, but there are so many little things that can actually go wrong that you actually got to be alert or got to keep your wits about you on it. Perfect, Tony. Well done on your strategy. 897, magic. And there's nothing stopping you from running your optimizations during the session. And if you see something else that is coming up like absolutely incredible results and they're hitting at 100% strike rates, there's nothing stopping you from pausing it and acting or adding that strategy. Even with this, I'm running these settings in and around the 1 to 10 and the 4 to 30. If I see one of these settings come up that are showing slightly better results, because I can also flick to these ones, you see, I can flick to these settings at the bottom and I can see, what is happening around those specific settings. And if I see something that is definitely standing out, I wouldn't mind switching over to that. But I think that's more if you're going to be doing a longer term session. So if you're going to be trading for like 2 or 3 hours, then you can have that approach where you keep optimizing. You start off with a very good set of settings, and then while your session is going on, you can run a few optimizations in the background. And in that way, you're more likely to find settings that are like absolutely perfectly in tune with the market right as it is now. Because remember, we're optimizing or we're analyzing a large data set, and obviously the conditions of a month ago and week to week are not going to automatically be the exact same going forward, but it is giving us the best probability of them being successful because they've shown a history of success. But you can still go and do your optimizations during the session. Even on your longer term charts like this, there's nothing stopping you from during your sessions to go and run your optimizations. But then, if you've hit your target and you're done for the day, then that's it, you're done. There's no use sitting here and continuing. Hit your target and be done. And if you're not hitting your target, go through your optimizations or just stop trading for the day. Maybe it's just not a good day. That's going to happen. This trade of mine now might come all the way back to the brick wall where it initially started. So I'm going to monitor what it does around here as an example. But often what happens, the price bounces off this, bounces off this coming up because that's its new support area. You see that brick wall that it's just painted over there started back over here. Okay. This brick wall started over here. Which bar? Started on this bar. So it's from there, it showed that this is a support area. So, like Eduardo said, if it's going against you, then pause it. If that support holds up, then stay in the trade. We also haven't got our Fibonacci levels loaded on here. I thought initially that maybe the Fibonacci levels was calling up data and that was messing up, it was corrupting it a bit. So I decided to leave it off for now. But if there was a strong Fibonacci level, crap. Okay, it's sold anyway, so that's fine. I'm just going to go back into the strategy. I pressed pause, and I really should have just, I didn't know it was going to switch over right at that very spot. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to deactivate the strategy, and I'm going to go immediately submit synchronize account, and then enable, apply, and OK. And hopefully I can catch a move down over here. Obviously, it would have been a little bit higher up. So the trade that it actually entered was a bit higher up over here. So probably not the best idea what I did over there, but 40 odd ticks later, I'm going to go and activate my Fibonacci levels on my other chart. And just see what that looks like. Okay, so on my 5-minute chart, probably not the best thing I did there, but that's okay. It's okay. So looking at this 5-minute chart, that is the price is just on the 4-hour 23.6. So that's where it is. It's bouncing off there now. So it broke below. It's come above. We've got a divergence arrow on top though, which normally show the price reversal. So now, even if you're bringing up your 5-minute chart, so this is a 5-minute chart, and as we discussed on the call, these arrows paint at the close of those bars. So very, very, very often you're going to be able to catch trades on these bar reversals and get some really, really good trades in if you're doing manual positions. Now, not always the case, because as you can see, we've got some arrows over here, but then we've got we've got divergences, but we also have the momentum line above price. So you got to just have a few things in, you're reviewing to make sure that you've got, come on. Okay, so unfortunately, what has happened to my chart? Something is not 100% over here. So strategies, I've gone and clicked on something, and I've actually disabled this thing for some reason. I don't know how that happened. It might have to do with this freaking immediately submit thing that I did. So I'm going to wait until flat synchronize and just reactivate that. I should have just left the damn thing like it was, but anyway. So we've got the, if I pop on the Fibonacci levels over here, so let's put them on this chart so we can see what they look like. I'll take the strategy analyzer out the way. We don't need to work with that now. I'll pull this out the way and then just see what this is looking like. So this is where you can also decide to take some manual entries if you wanted to, if you weren't having a strategy running. Okay. So now that this price has broken below the 4-hour 23.6, it also had the 1 hour there. So if you look at the chart, if you look at the chart, we've got the 1 hour 61.8 and the 4 hour 23.6. So that's probably why the price struggled in that zone over there where that is. Below the price right now, there's a big gap. So if we're looking for this price to run, this is where it should be running next. We have a huge gap below the price. So we've got all the way up until the daily 50%. So that is a decent gap for the price. So whenever you say, if you've got your Fibonacci levels loaded up like this, and you are seeing a big gap like this underneath the price, you can take a shot at that, because there's nothing really stopping that price. And as we've seen on all these calls, whenever we've seen gaps below, very often it has run that area. And that's exactly what it's doing. It's just running, it's just going for it, nothing stopping it. And that there is a good, you've got a good 30, 60, 90 ticks that have moved in that little space there. We've got the 1 hour 50%. So we'll see what the price does in around that. So we had a previous brick wall form over here. It's no longer valid. So the brick walls are only valid up until where they plot on your chart. So this brick wall is only valid up until there. The current brick wall that's in play is this one over here, this orange one over here. That's the current support level for price on the upside. And that's below the Fibonacci levels, you see? So below, and that's below these levels here. So it should hold the price down. So as soon as the price broke below this level here for this sell, you can almost guarantee this price is going to run down. So it came and touched the 50%. So generally, it's probably a good time to pause around this area. I have done that in the past and it's flown right through, but just know that those are often places where price does bounce off. So we've got a 5-minute 38.2 and a daily 50% at that level. So this does seem to be one of those bounce situations where it came like almost to the tick to that level, and is now actually going right up. But often this price will will form these blocks like you're seeing now. So these are 32 tick. These are 32 tick candles. So the price is going to be, obviously forming these candles often around strong support levels, like those Fibonacci numbers. But this one, could have just broken through the 5-minute, came and touched the 38, coming back up to the 23, which is not a big level. Just coming back to take out some stops, and then probably float around here a little bit. So we're definitely seeing a strong level over here where it looks like the price is struggling over here. Just seems that way for right now. But yeah, as you can see, that block that I drew, that's exactly where price came, because there was nothing stopping it. So even if you're taking trades like that as your one trade of the day, and you're making your $500–600, that's all you need to do. That's literally all you need to do. Now we've broken below the 50. Now this is temporarily. We are starting to get a confirmation on our larger term, not larger term, 5-minute is definitely not a larger term candle, but we're starting to see a gold bar form there now. Now, interestingly, the last candle closed just above the 51, okay? It closed just above the 50%. So that could mean that it tried to break through, didn't break through, closed above, and could bounce up. So also just looking where these candles close can be a very quick telling of what's going to happen to price afterwards. So even looking at previous times where price has acted, so like this green candle over here, you can see it closed below the 38.2 and then went down. Then these next candles over here came back up, closed above that level again. All those candles after that closed above. So just from looking at that, your chance of the price going up in this type of a situation is a lot higher than the coming down, because these candles have all closed above that key level. Same thing happens when you are looking at the price climb above the 50, close above the 50, which it did over there. You can be looking at a long. Now, with 5-minute charts or any minute chart, it's very difficult to pick up exactly how long these candles are going to be. And also, you often, you could be taken out by a spike in the price, which really sucks. But often, like, look at this one here, it's coming down, but only when this candle closes would you be able to say, well, this looks like it's going to, they're just taking out stops and they probably want to take the price up. Or if they close below, there's a very good chance they're going to bring the price down. But from what this looks like, right now, they've only got 3 minutes left of this candle. It'll be interesting to see where that happens. Now, it's 100% obvious that every single time that this happens, it's not going to be the case. Like this one here closed above, this candle here closed above the 23.6. Okay, so if you bought over there, you would be in a losing position, but there is a 50% Fibonacci right above that. That's the monthly, 250%. So that's another strong level. And you had a divergence arrow there telling you that this price was more likely to go down. So as soon as this bar closed, okay, that's when that arrow would form. So remember, this bar that we're looking at now closed up here. Okay, it closed up there. Oh, come on. It closed, you can see where it closed. It closed basically at the top of that candle, and immediately it painted that arrow. So if you were in a long position and you saw an arrow, you would just jump out of that as fast as you can. You know, it's all good and well looking in hindsight, but I mean, that is what you would be doing, you know, with this. And you can see this candle is now looking definitely to be closing above that 50%. So not looking good for the trade that I had open, because I'm looking at this chart, but you can get a perspective of what's happening on the smaller term charts. I mean, on those type of charts, to see what the price is doing, and even take trades based on those movements in price. So yeah, we've definitely had a considerable fail at this level. So, you know, that was quite evident there. But sometimes you might want to have your confirmation from a minute chart, because apparently I've been told that, you know, a lot of people watch the minute charts and they make their decisions based on decisions from there, not really into the tick charts like we're working on here. So that's often the case. So just because this 5-minute candle closed above that 50%, that, you know, could be a good entry to jump in and get some points. You can apply that same principle to the 5-minute Fibonacci levels, but they're a lot weaker, those levels. So only if they're very close to another Fibonacci level, then you can definitely do that. So I am in a position now. It's now gone 10 o'clock, but because I've got on bar close, it's only going to exit this position when this bar closes. So this bar is either going to close up or it's going to close down. If it closes up, it's going to be a very small position. If it closes down, it's going to be a very good position, a good trade. It'll probably close when the price touches here. So you'll notice then it'll get a message saying outside, there we go, outside trading hours. So there we go. So that was the session. I hope it was beneficial to you guys, and I hope that you made some good returns. I know a lot of you did, so that's awesome. And that's it for the week. But at least now you guys have got a very good perspective of how to work with the strategy, the analyzer, and the tools. So keep at it. And if you guys are not on the new assembly, the latest assembly was the 10th of October. So I try update at least every couple of weeks and just make sure everything is fine-tuned, and I make little mods and little updates to make sure everything is working as it should. Hey guys, thank you for being on the call, and I shall see you guys next week. We've got our normal catch-up call on Sunday night, which is for all the DTB traders and all the whole group. So we'll see you on the call. Otherwise, we'll see you on Monday morning session.
Excellent.
Thank you,
Cheers, Jason.
Jason, just as a matter of interest, what did your 32 do in the end?
Okay.
Did you come out all right?
I don't think so, because I stopped it and it restarted and it did a few things. So I reactivated, it was 460, but I think I'm still down for the session. Yeah,
okay.
I didn't actually end up well. And that's because I basically, I stuffed around with it a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, we'll continue next week and go from there.
Excellent.
Okay, guys, thank you.
All right, Jason, thanks, mate.
Yeah, anything you wanted to add?
Oh, no, I was just going to say the 48 bar was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, was it, eh? Okay.
Oh, golly. Yeah, that was $1,500.
All right. Well, there we go.
Oh, bloody hell. Can't win them all, man.
Well, that's it. And, that's why it's good to have a few different accounts running, a few different strategies running. You can mix it up a bit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, guys.
Enjoy.
Chat to you then.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.